Welcome to Psychic Training 101. I'm your instructor, Desiree Fultz. The coursework in this lesson is an introduction to psychic work. Each successive lesson is designed to help you improve your extrasensory perception. Lesson 1. The senses. A psychic is an individual who has the ability to understand information gathered through extrasensory perception, or ESP. That means the senses they use are non-physical, or of a supernatural nature that goes beyond the 5 physical senses. Most people are only familiar with gathering and processing information through the 5 physical senses: sight, taste, hearing, touch, and smell, which are all received by signals to the brain through the nervous system. And of course, the 6th sense is often referred to generally accessing information from beyond. An individual in touch with their psychic senses has developed extrasensory ability to obtain information through spiritual, emotional, or subtle bodies. These extrasensory, beyond the senses, abilities can be used to gain insight about people, events, or circumstances that would otherwise be unavailable to the normal range of physical senses. We are all born with the capacity to develop these psychic senses, but few people ever truly learn to master this form of communication. There are many modes by which understanding can be achieved through the psychic senses, and they're similar to the physical body, and yet not the same. Let's explore the various modes of extrasensory perception. Clairvoyance, seeing without the physical eyes. Clairaudience, hearing without the physical ears. Clairgustance, smelling without the physical nose. Clairsalience, tasting without the physical mouth. Clairsentience, feeling without the physical body itself. And claircognizance, knowing without the physical brain actively thinking. The physical body is mirrored by a subtle body that vibrates at a faster speed. Really fast things are more difficult to capture, especially if someone is dulled by a slow, sluggish, toxic human body. Physical matter vibrates more slowly and uses tangible means to communicate. If the physical body is slowed by undernourishment, toxins, pharmaceutical drugs, illicit drugs, disease, junk food, or activities that dull the senses, it becomes more difficult to access these quiet, subtle clues and fast-moving energies that permeate everything. For example, putting a thick glove over a hand dulls the physical senses from feeling the details of a textured surface. Remove the glove, and the details become clear. If the physical body is dulled by lifestyle, the individual will not be able to receive clear impressions from beyond. It's important to care for the physical body because it's the temple for our spirits, home to our souls, and conduit for our emotions. A well-kept and secure home is much nicer to live in than a filthy party house sullied by all manner of low-vibrating garbage. Rubbish in, rubbish out. What you put into your body has a direct impact on how well you will be able to feel and understand through the subtle or quiet body and its extrasensory perception of the entire web of creation. Mediumship differs from psychic communication in that mediums communicate with other entities through the psychic senses, but not all psychics are mediums. Intuitives and psychics are similar in that intuitives act on hunches or gut feelings, but don't necessarily have to translate impressions into meanings or go deeper to search out more clues for understanding. An intuitive hunch is normally fairly effortless and comes from generally trusting one's 6th sense. Some people trust in their inner sense more than others, and thus they are being intuitive for acting based on subtle promptings. We're all born with intuition, but not everyone develops trust in their intuitions. For example, say you're driving through an unfamiliar town and your GPS isn't working. You know you're close to your destination, but there's a split in the road and you're not quite sure which direction to go. An intuitive hunch may give you the feeling to turn right, so you trust your gut and you go that way, only to find that it was the correct choice. Or, say you're presented with a box of chocolates and you can choose one, but you hate the ones filled with hazelnuts. You follow your hunch to pick one without nuts and happily discover that your choice was correct. Intuitive hunches do not require processing to decipher, and they come in quick flashes in the moment. Psychic perceptions often require underlying knowledge, logic, and deeper investigation to make sense of the clues received. Before a clear message can be translated to others, a psychic must decipher the impressions, images, words, feelings, sounds, etc. to make sense of them. True psychic work involves both extrasensory and sensory organs when serving a client. For example, a psychic that uses tarot or astrology to answer specific questions from another person must first have an underlying knowledge of complex symbols and how to use them. Psychics often use tools or modes of concentration that allows the concrete mind to recall information while accessing the abstract mind simultaneously. The abstract or higher mind is that part of consciousness that fills in the blanks when concrete information is not available. Intuitive insights cannot be controlled or measured in the same way that psychic insights are. Intuitive insight promptings tend to come in small flashes of insight in the moment of need. This intuitive flash is often recognized in mother's intuition, for example, when suddenly she feels the need to check on her child in the other room and discovers that her child is engaged in some kind of mischief or in some kind of danger. Most experienced psychics are very much in control of using their psychic abilities on demand. They can access information beyond the physical at will. Rather than the intuition most people only access in certain moments without having to exert will to tap. So in a sense, we all tap our intuition before we can begin to tap our psychic senses. The psychic senses need to be trained in order to use them as a tool. Much like the physical body needs to train before competing in sports, the physical senses must be exercised for them to be applied with any accuracy. This course is designed to help you strengthen extrasensory perceptions and to illustrate many different ways one can tap these psychic abilities. Obviously, some people are genetically predisposed for extrasensory abilities, while others may have to work much harder to obtain results in these areas of sensing and communicating. In other words, some people are born into a long line of ancestry that used their psychic abilities, and others are not. Natural-born psychics will find it much easier to apply these methods. Each lesson will have coursework in the form of exercises you can do to enhance your abilities. Some students may begin to see results very quickly, while others may take longer to grasp even the simplest exercises. Epigenetic expressions are one of the most influential factors in whether or not an individual can become a skilled psychic. In addition to genetic expression, personal astrology may also give clues as to which psychic abilities may come naturally for you, and at which times those abilities are most clear. For students who have poor genetic expression of psychic abilities, or personal astrology that indicates these types of insights are harder to achieve, much study and practice will be required to break free of genetic coding or malefic astrological alignments in order to successfully tap the outer realms. Nothing is impossible to one who has a deep desire to learn and apply the methods outlined in this course. Welcome to Psychic Training 101. Coursework for Lesson 1. Find a quiet place to relax. Go into a meditative state and consciously experience each sense. Smell the air. Hear the sounds around you. Taste the air. See the sights around you. Feel the weight of your own body on the ground beneath you. Combine all these sensations until you feel at one with the environment around you. Once you feel a sense of oneness in the physical sense, try to extend beyond the physical realms and feel or sense the invisible realms around you, beyond what you can immediately see, smell, hear, taste, or touch with your body. Imagine that the body becomes infused with light so intense that the physical body is burned away and all that's left is a light body that mirrors the physical one. This visualization process trains the senses to access light, which vibrates faster than opaque form. Light travels very quickly and has a broad spectrum of rays unseen by the naked eye and undetectable to the other physical senses. This light body will be referred to often in the training course to help you identify the planes of higher vibrations. You'll be accessing the light body as a vehicle for receiving light and knowledge that the physical world vibrates too slowly to comprehend. Do this exercise often. The stronger your light body, the easier it will be to cast light into darkness to reveal what others cannot, for they are in the dark or operating from an opaque body. Each time you do this exercise, try to make the light brighter and extend further and further into time and space. This is how you will grow your light body gradually until it permeates everything at all times without conscious effort. This concludes Lesson 1.